السلام عليكم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيدنا وآخره. مدد يا رسول مدد يا سادة أصحاب رسول مدد يا مشايخ الدستور وعلى شاء الله فاز أحسن شيخ محمد الرحمن هدى طريقتنا الصحبة والخير في الجمعية. Nefsin hastalıkları çoktur.
The ego has many diseases.
Onlardan da birisi methedilmek.
And one of the diseases of the ego is its constant desire to be praised.
Nefsini insanlar ne kadar methederse nefis o kadar memnun olur.
The more people praise the ego, the happier the people become.
Pohpohlarlarsa daha fazla memnun olur.
And if the ego is flattered, then the ego becomes even happier.
Çok hoşuna gider nefsin.
The ego likes it very much to be praised and to be flattered.
Halbuki büyükler söylemiş ki nefes seni kötüleyen olursa üzülmemen lazım.
The holy ones, the great ones, however, said that if somebody criticizes your ego, that criticism should not make you feel sad.
Metheden olursa sevinmemen lazım.
And they said, on the other side, if someone praises your ego, you should not take joy in that praise.
İkisi aynı olması lazım.
There should be no difference to you whether someone criticizes you or whether someone praises you.
Yani beni methettiler de sevinip bana zemmettiler de yani bana kötü laf ettiler de üzülen.
If you take pride in when people praise you and if you feel saddened when people criticize you,
nefsini büyütmüş olur.
You will be under the control of your ego and it will only make sure that you will be increasing your ego.
Nefsi de kontrol edemez ondan sonra.
And then as your ego increases, you will lose control over your ego and you will be unable to defeat your ego.
Hepsi aynı olması lazım.
It should not make any difference whether people praise you or whether people criticize your ego.
Kimse başkasının lafıyla, başkasının şeyine değil de
don't let yourself be influenced by what others say about you, whether positive or negative.
Kendi nefsini muhafaza etmesi lazım.
You should always focus on yourself and not what others say, and you should always try to control yourself.
Ona fazla önem verip şımartmaması lazım.
You should not give importance to what others say because your ego will be spoiled by what others say.
Çünkü nefsini büyütürsen zapt edemezsin.
Because as you increase the size of your ego, you will lose control over your ego and you will ultimately be unable to defeat your ego.
Devamlı küçültmen lazım.
Therefore, you must always be after downsizing your ego.
Nefsini tavazuyla nefsim böyle bu methetmeye mustahak bir şey değil.
You should always downsize your ego. You should lower your ego. And when you are praised, you should always say, my ego is not worthy of that praise.
Sana kötü nefsine bir şey kötü zor gelirse bu daha azdır.
And if somebody criticizes your ego or if something happens that your ego doesn't like, then you should remind yourself that what happened or what has been just said is even not enough for my ego. My ego deserves even worse.
Bu dedikleri doğrudur. Benim nefsim bundan daha kötüdür.
So if somebody criticizes your ego, you should say and agree what they say is right, and in fact, my ego is even worse than what they say.
Diye söylemek lazım.
This is what we must remind ourselves of.
Tarikat yolunda olan insan bunu daha fazla yapması lazım ki
those who follow the way of the tariqa should pay special attention to not being influenced by what others say about themselves,
Nefsine yenilmesin.
in order to not be defeated by one's ego.
Öteki türlü nefsini büyütürsen yenemezsin.
Because if you keep increasing the size of your ego, you will never be in a position to overcome or defeat your ego.
Küçültürsen yenersin.
However, if you lower your ego, if you downsize your ego, you will be able to defeat your ego.
Allah yardım etsin.
May Allah Almighty help us.
Kimsenin bu bir de nefsini bazen çoğu insan kandırmak için bir şey senden almak için laftı şeydi her türlü şeyi insan bir karşısındakini herkes de biliyor bunu.
And this is something everyone knows, that when people say nice things to you, when people praise you or when they flatter you, usually they say these nice things in order to make you give them something in return. And they usually want something from you when they say nice things to you.
Vohlar sen şöylesin sen böylesin filan. Adam utanır o vakit verir.
They will pamper your ego, they will flatter you, they will say so beautiful things to you in order to make you give something. And your ego, of course, likes to be praised, and then your ego will easily give in to give them what they want.
Ama neye veriyor? Nefsini methetti diye sana, seni methetti diye o daha kolay istediğini alabiliyor o vakit insan.
So there are people who want to cheat you, who want to trick you, and they are after something and they want to make you give them what they want. And it is through flattery and through nice words and through praising your ego that they want to make your ego easily give what they want to them.
Öteki türlü alamıyor.
Because if somebody controls his ego, they are not cheated by such flattery.
Nefsine hakim olan insandan bir şey alamaz Allah'ın izniyle.
Those who control their ego will not give in to such flattery.
Allah hepimizi nefsimizden muhafaza etsin şerrinden.
May Allah Almighty protect us all from the evil of our egos.
Galip getirsin onu inşallah.
And may Allah Almighty make us be able to defeat and overcome our egos.
Ve minallah tevfik. El Fatiha.